Hi everyone, welcome to our first video on profit and loss. So in this part of the video, I'll be covering all the basic terms and terminology needed for this chapter. That is, we'll talk about profit, loss, discount, markup, mark price, discount percentages, everything. The percentages become very important because what base to use for what type of question becomes very, very important. Let's start with the first basic terms. First is profit. When do you make profit? So when I say I'm a businessman and I deal in some products, I buy something and sell something. When do you make profit? You obviously make profit when your selling price is greater than your cost price. You will make profit only when your selling price is greater than your cost price. And what will be the formula for profit? Profit will be selling price minus the cost price. That's the formula for profit. What will profit percentage be? So profit percentage will be profit. So whether you want to call it profit or you want to call it selling price minus cost price, same thing, upon the cost price into 100. So this is very important. Profit percentage, whenever you're calculating profit percentage, the base will be the cost price. What is the money you invested? That becomes the important part, and that will go into the base. So suppose the example which we've taken, a very basic example over here, our article costing 800 is sold for rupees 900. Find the profit percentage. So your cost price is 800, your selling price is 900. So what's your profit percentage? Profit percentage is selling price minus cost price. That's 900 minus 800 upon 800, because upon cost price into 100, right? So that will become 100 upon 800, which will be 1 by 8 into 100. 100 upon 800 is 1 by 8, 1 by 8 into 100. Now we know from our fractions ka part from the chapter of percentages that 1 by 8 is 12.5%. So hence you should directly get this as 12.5% instead of actually doing the calculation. Otherwise you can do that 4 2s are 4, 25s are 25 divided by 2 is 12.5%. So profit, what is profit? Basically selling price minus cost price is profit. And you make profit only when your selling price is greater than your cost price, right? That's the only case you will make profit. Let's take the next term, exactly opposite. When do you make loss in a business? If your cost price is greater than your selling price, then you make a loss. And loss will be cost price minus selling price. That will be my loss, right? And loss percentage will be loss upon, again, still cost price only. Remember, this does not change. The denominator still remains the cost price only. So loss percentage is loss, which is nothing but cost price minus selling price upon cost price into 100. Say if an article costing 800 is sold for rupees 600, find the loss percentage. So the loss percentage will be loss, that is 800 minus 600. Your cost price is 800, your selling price is 600. So 800 minus 600 upon still 800, because that's your cost price, into 100. So that's 200 upon 800 into 100, which is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 into 100 will become 25%. So the loss is 25%, right? Let's go through the next thing. Next is discount. Now think from a shopkeeper. Whenever you're doing discount questions, now always think from the shopkeeper's perspective. Make yourself the shopkeeper, never the buyer. Okay? So what is discount? You offer discount on what price? Do you offer discount on your cost price? No. You always offer discount on a price which is called as the marked price. So discount is marked price, which is called as MP. Okay. Marked price, sorry. That will be marked price MP minus the selling price, right? That means suppose here the cost price is not involved only. I have marked a good, say I have marked this pen for 500 rupees. Somebody comes to a shop and if I sell it for 400 rupees, the discount which I'm offering is 100. I could have bought this for more than 500. I could have bought this for more than 400, less than 400, doesn't matter. Here we are not even talking about profit and loss. Here we are talking only about the mark price minus the selling price is discount. And discount percentage will be discount, very importantly, upon the mark price into 100. So remember, you always offer discount on the mark price, never on the selling price, never on the cost price. In the cost price, that doesn't come in between. Discount relates only two things. It relates mark price and it relates selling price. An article is marked for 720, is sold for 660. Find the discount percentage offered. So mark price is 720, selling price is 660. What is the discount percentage offered? So discount percentage is discount, that is 720 minus 660 upon 720 into 100. That will become 60 upon 720 into 100. 0, 0 cut, 6 ones are 6 12s are. Again, if you remember our reciprocals well, 1 by 12 was 8.33%. So the discount offered is 8.33%. Now what we're going to go and do is we are going to take all the three examples which we just did behind for profit, for loss and for discount and learn them with fractions. So I'm going to just take everything one more time and learn to write how I can write fractions. Suppose if I say the profit percentage in a transaction is 14.28%, which is 1 by 7. We know that. Say profit is 1 by 7. How do you relate? What two terms does profit relate? Profit will relate selling price and cost price. So if there is profit, your selling price is more than the cost price. So then if the profit is 1 by 7, I should be able to write that the selling price is 8 by 7 of the cost price. How does that 8 by 7 come? Same that what we have learned in the chapter of percentages. So if you haven't seen the percentages videos, you all should first see that and come back to this. So 1 plus 1 by 7, it becomes 8 by 7. So this will be the relationship which we will form in a lot of questions, which we can form whenever percentages are given. Same logic I can apply for loss. Suppose the loss in a transaction is 8.33%, which we know is 1 by 12. So if there's a loss of 1 by 12, your selling price will be less than the cost price. So you say your selling price will be 11 by 12 of the cost price. Selling price will be 11 by 12 of the cost price. But when I go to discount will relate discount and mark price, and here there will be only one way. If I say discount is 20%, which is say 1 by 5, which is always, discount means always the price is coming down. You can't say I am giving you a discount and sell for a higher price. Your discount will always bring the price down. So therefore we will say here the selling price is 4 by 5 of the mark price. The selling price is 4 by 5 of the mark price. Very important. Okay, so these three things of getting the relation between fractions is also very important. Let's learn the next one, markup. Markup is what do I mark it at? I bought this pen for say 500 rupees. I can mark it for whatever price I want depending on the demand. So that's a markup. So markup is marked price minus the cost price. That's markup. I bought it for 500, I marked it 700. So the markup became 200 rupees. Markup percentage will be markup, which is mark price minus cost price, upon the cost price into 100. That means you're marking it on the cost price. You're marking it on the cost price. And the fractional relation can also be that way. Markup, normally you always mark it up only. That is why the word mark up is there, not mark down. There can be marked down also. We'll discuss that some other time. So we can say the mark price, say if the markup, if in a question you say markup percentage is say 15%, 15% is 3 by 20. Okay, so we can say the mark price is 23 by 20 of the cost price. If your markup is 15%, we will say the mark price is 23 by 20 of the cost price. Let's take the example. An article is costing 720, is marked for 900. Find the markup percentage. So your markup percent will be 900 minus 720 upon 720. Importantly, these upons are very important, into 100. So that's 180 upon 720 into 100. 18 fours are 72. So this will be going 4 times exactly. And the answer will be 25%, right? So these were the terms mainly. And we can then look through more examples. Before that, just again talking about our live conceptual classes where we'll talk about every concept in detail. We'll be discussing concepts with a lot of examples. You can definitely look at this when you attend when you join our course. Let's look at some examples. An article is sold for so much. After making a profit of 8.33%, find the cost price of the article. So 8.33 we know is 1 by 12, and because it's profit, it's up. So I will say my selling price is 13 by 12 of the cost price. And remember, the article is sold at this. That means this is my selling price. 13013 is 13 by 12 of the cost price. So 13013 into 12 upon 13 is my cost price. 13 ones are 13, 0, 0, and 13 ones are 13 into 12. That will become how much? 12 ones are 12, 1, 0, 12. So my cost price will become 12,012 rupees. And if the profit is 1 by 12, my selling price will be 13013. So this relationship which we learned earlier becomes very important. Again, otherwise you'll have to assume a value like 13x or something into the question. But you can't do 1 by 12 of this number because the profit percentage is on the cost price, not on the selling price. That is very, very important. Okay, let's continue. A shopkeeper sold fruits at a loss of 14.28%, making a loss of 2,000 rupees. Find the cost price and the selling price of the article. Now, tell me what was the loss on? The loss is always on the cost price. So this loss which you are making, the loss percentage, is always on the cost price. So it is 14.28% of the cost price is rupees 2,000. Let's go through this again. You're making a loss of 14.28% and the actual loss is 2,000 rupees. So 14.28% is 2,000. So we know 14.28 is 1 by 7. 1 by 7 of the CP is 2,000. So CP becomes 2,000 into 7. So CP becomes 14,000. So cost price is 14,000. You had made a loss. So how will we find the selling price? What was the formula for loss? Loss was cost price minus selling price. So 2,000 is 14,000 minus selling price. And therefore selling price will be less this time. And therefore selling price will be 12,000, right? Important part. Let's go through this one more time. The important thing was this step. 14.28% of the cost price is that loss. So loss is 14.28%, which is on the cost price, which is 2,000 rupees. Once you get this, everything else was easy. Let's take one more example. This is mixing two concepts. A shopkeeper marks goods at 50% above his cost price and then offers two discount of 20% and 10%. Find the profit or the loss percentage made by the shopkeeper. Because all the numbers are pretty nice numbers. When I mean nice numbers, I always look at 50, 20, 10, which are all basically factors of 100. I can start with let the cost price be 100 rupees. Started with the cost price as 100. Then he marked it up by 50%. So there was a markup of 50%. So that 50% will be on the cost price. So mark up will be 50% of 100 rupees, which will be 50 rupees. So cost price, I bought the pen for 100 rupees. I marked it up by 50. That means my mark price became 150 rupees, on which I offered two discounts, one of 20% and one of 10%. Let's see how do you calculate the discount. Discounts. So what will be discount 1? It will be 20% of 150. 1/5. Now I'm not showing all the calculations in detail. I assume I will start getting that. So this discount will be 30 rupees. So the price after the first discount, we still one more discount is left. The price after the first discount, you're giving a discount, right? You're marked at 150. Then somebody came and said, okay, 20% discount. So you were ready to give it for 30 rupees less. So 150 minus 30. So you were ready to give it for 120. Then that person turns out to be your relative or your far off neighbor or your cousin or whatever. And hence you offer 10% discount more. That 10% becomes on this value. So second discount will be 10% of 120, which will be 12 rupees. So the second discount which you're given is 12 rupees, and therefore your final selling price becomes 108 rupees. 108, 120 minus 12, 108. So something which you bought for 100, you are selling for 108. So your profit percentage is profit, which is 8 rupees upon the cost price into 100, which will become 8%. This is method number 1 to do this question. I'm going to go through it again. I assume the cost price is 100. I got a markup of 50%. I became 150. I gave first discount of 30%, second discount of 20%, and then second discount of 10%. And I reached a final price of 108, which made the profit at 8%. What could be the other approaches to do this question? Pay attention. The other approaches can be from successive percentage change. We've learned this concept behind. I'm going to increase by 50%, then decrease by 20%, and then again decrease by 10%. I had explained even in that concept that never do successive percentage for 3 things together. Finish 2 of them, get the answer, and the answer with the third one. So if I use the formula A plus B plus AB by 100, if I use this concept, what will I get? So it will be plus 50 minus 20 plus minus minus. 50 into 20 is 1000 upon 100, which will be 10. 50 minus 20 is 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. So this is 20. Now 20 with 10 plus 20 and minus 10. Let's use the same formula one more time. So it will be plus 20 minus 10 plus minus minus 200 upon 100, which is 2. So that will be 20 minus 10 is 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. And the final answer is positive 8%, which means there's a profit of 8%. There's no loss. There's a profit of 8%. Right? So obviously you can do it with fractions also. It will be much faster with fractions. So explaining with fractions, say if the cost price was say 1 rupee. First, I want to increase by 50%. That means when you increase by 50%, 50% is half. If you're increasing something by half, it becomes 3 by 2. And then you're giving 2 discount. Discounts are always bringing down. So 20% is 1 by 5. When you're bringing something down by 1 by 5, it will become 4 by 5. Second time you're bringing it down by 1 by 10, which means it will become 9 by 10. Let's cut whatever we can cut. I think there's only one thing really cutting. 2 ones are 2 twos are. Maybe one more thing. 2 ones are 2 fives are. Okay. So basically it has become 27 by 25. Okay. Something has become 27 by 25. Now pay attention. So this is a fraction and this becomes your selling price. So if the cost price was 1, my selling price is so much. So if I assume the cost price is 100, my selling price will be this into 100, which will come out to be 108 rupees. 25 ones are, 25 fours are, 27 fours are 108. And therefore your profit will again be 8%. So all these different approaches can be used for this kind of questions. Again, please understand from your seniors and everything how our application classes have helped them. You can read all the different reviews about our application classes, how it has helped most of the toppers, and I'm sure it will help you also. Okay, let's continue with a few more questions. Puro purchases 2 books for a total of 1200. So he's purchased 2 books, including both of them. Total cost was 1200. He sells one at 14% profit and the other at 16% loss. If he neither gains nor loses any money, find the cost price of each book. So total price of both the books is 1200. So if I take the price of the first book as say X, I can take the price of the second book as 1200 minus X. Let's assume on this book he makes 14% profit. So the profit which he makes is 14 upon 100 multiplied by X. And the loss which he makes on this book is 16%. So 16 upon 100 multiplied by 1200 minus X. Now, what have they said? He neither gains nor loses any money. That means finally there is no profit, no loss. Which means the profit made over here is equal to the loss over here. The profit made on the first book has to be equal to the loss made on the second book. So this 100 will cut out. 2 7s are 2 8s will cut out. So I'll get 7x is equal to 1200 into 8 minus 8x. Bring the 8x on the left side. 7x plus 8x will become 15x. Will be 1200 into 8. X will be 1200 into 8 divided by 15. 15 8s is 120, 0. 8 8s is 64 with a 0, so 640. So the price of the first books turns out to be 640 rupees. And the price of the second book turns out to be 560 rupees. Because the profit on one is offset as the loss on the other, that is why these two are equal. There can be one more way to do this question. The other way to do this question would be where I would basically use ratios. Again, maybe usage of ratios, so people who don't understand can come back to it after learning ratios. I can say let the book ka prices be X and Y. So I know total from X and Y is 1200. Let's say on X, I make 14% profit. So 14% profit on X is equal to 16% loss on Y. 100 cut. So I'll get a ratio X upon Y is 16 upon 14, which is 8 upon 7. So basically, I have to divide 1200 rupees in the ratio 8:7. So X will be 8 upon 15, 8 plus 7, 15 into 1200. As I said, if you don't know this ratios thing yet, you can come back to it after ratios. 15 8s are 120, 0. So X becomes 640 and therefore Y will become 560. Whichever method you use it, the question is a pretty nice one. Let's have a look at the next one. An article is sold at a loss for rupees 80. That means they've told us it's a loss, but the selling price is 80. A lot of people get confused over here. What do they mean by bracket mein at a loss? Selling price is 80, which means the cost price, which I don't know, I'm going to call as X. X is definitely greater than 80 because here I was making a loss, that was told. Had it been sold for rupees 95, there would have been a gain. That means if the selling price was 95, that means X is greater than 80, but X is less than 95 because here there's a profit. There would be a gain, which is half of the loss. So the profit made is half of what the original loss was. So we just need to learn how to make this into an equation. Okay, pay attention carefully. When I'm selling for 80, my cost price, which is X, which I don't know, is more than 80. So my loss is X minus 80. But my gain or my profit when I'm selling for 95, my cost price is still X only. My profit will be 95 minus X. And the gain would be half of the former loss. So this gain is half of the former loss. Cross multiply and solve it out like an equation. 95 2s are, that's 190 minus 2x is x minus 80. Bring 80 on the other side, that will become 190 plus 80 is 270 is x plus 2x, which is 3x. 3x is 270, so x is 270 upon 3, which is 90 rupees. So my cost price of the book is 90. Obviously, a lot of other ways of doing it. There's one more kind of magical way to do this question. Let me explain that to you. Maybe you'll like that also. I make like a kind of a number line and I put 80 over here and 95 over here. Okay. And I put the cost price somewhere over here. I know cost price is more than 80, less than 95. This is my loss. And this is my profit. And they've told us the profit is half of the loss. The difference between these two numbers is 15. Profit is half of the loss. So we need to break up 15 in two numbers where one number is half of the other. Very easy breakup, 10 and 5. 10 and 5. That means my loss is 10 rupees and my profit is 5 rupees. And once I get that, I'll get this number very easily, it will become 90. So that's the shortcut. That's like what the kind of shortcuts you need for CAT. Okay. Let's see the last question over here. An item sells at 84% of its original cost price. If 96 is added to this discounted price, there will be no profit, no loss. Now, when you're selling at 84%, you're selling at 84%. That means how much percent less are you selling for? It is sold for 16% less because percentage is always out of 100. So when you're selling at 84% of the original cost price, then we know you're selling at 16% less. And by adding 96, there is no profit, no loss. That means in short that 16% of the cost price is rupees 96. So what is the cost price? Cost price is always 100% is how much? So if 16% is 96, how much is 100%? It will be 100 into 96 divided by 16. 16 6 are 96 and answer will be 600 rupees. Okay. Thank you for watching that video. I hope you learned a few things about profit and loss. We'll be coming across with one more video next for profit and loss, where we'll be talking about the different type of transactions which will happen in profit and loss chapter.